Hey guys, Kyle here, Mortgage Celebrity Studio. I'm here with Kia from The Voice of the Valley. Kia and I guess we connected online and two local podcasts trying to make something important with the Valley. But for right now, I wanted to bring you in to talk about kind of what you're doing. It's very similar to our goals and our objectives, but thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Kyle, for bringing me on the Mortgage Celebrity Show. Voice of the Valley is a podcast studio and more so a networking group that we started because we believed, the Valley's growing and it's very important nowadays with social media to grow a brand.
Yeah.
We're going into the tech world, and the tech world is getting more and more like intellectual. Like it doesn't exist. If you look at like Facebook, Instagram, none of that stuff actually exists in the physical world, but look at how much business it brings you. So, that's one of the great things about social media.
Yeah. And so you started The Voice of the Valley when?
This was in the projects about October, late October. We came up with the idea, my business partner and founder, Joe. And by January, we started. By like January 1st, we were a go.
So why start it? What did you notice? Where did the idea come from?
hmm The idea really came from, it's getting harder and harder to start a business nowadays. And now social media is so clogged, meaning if you start something, it's going to be very impossible for you to grow. It's going to be very hard for you. So, we sat down and we said, so what type of businesses can we go in? And we checklisted a lot of them. And we said, well, no, they require too much overhead. They take too long to start. What else? So we stumbled upon the idea of a podcast. So we were like, why not? Joe and I always like to watch, stock market podcasts, like what's going on with the markets and stuff. So we said, why not just do it for the Valley? Getting into it, when we first started, we ran into a lot of problems and issues. But that's with anything. You're gonna start and you're gonna fail, right? So we started. We ran into some bumps, but then we saw the traction that we started to gain, and from that traction, we're now here.
So when you start, you recognize a need for the Valley, a podcast, something, a networking area to help businesses grow. You come at it from like an entrepreneurial standpoint where you're like, we want to start a business, but we don't know what to do. And then you kind of check off all the things that we think they've already, taken. And then you stumble upon this. You like the podcast forum. You find this. What do you do to find your first guest? Like, how do you even go about like reaching out to people?
Yeah. So you contact your friends,
Mm.
and if they are good friends, they have better friends, right? So we were really blessed to bring on Dr. Dennis Covier as the first guest. He's a world-renowned keynote speaker. He mentors a lot of billionaires and entrepreneurs. So I think when I brought on Dr. Covier, my expectations were a little bit high, right? Because I'm like, oh, I brought on one of the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start bringing everyone that's best. Where that's not the case. So transitioning again, you got to go for the people that have a strong brand but aren't too high above. Because if you only aim for the people that are too high above, you're not gonna get them, and you're not gonna pump out podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I found that like the strategy I think that we kind of employ here is not anyone and everyone, but like no one's too small. Like I want to have a conversation. If you have an interesting story to tell, if you're a piece of the Valley, if you're doing something and your story is good, then let's talk about it. You might be the start of whether it's a nonprofit or something, and like I'd love to be the first person that talked to you. But like at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, obviously you'd love to have a person that has a ton of followers and get you
Mm-hmm.
some more exposure. So you have this conversation with him. Were you super critical of the way it turned out, like right away? Were you like, man, I shouldn't have asked that? Or were you really happy with the way it turned
No,
out?
I was very happy with it. I have a different style of podcasting. I'm very easy flowing, and I just speak the raw, unfiltered truth. So Dennis was the same. He was completely unfiltered. I mean, we were going into conspiracy theories halfway into it. So no, I knew it was my calling.
That's good. So, do you do most of the podcasting yourself, or does your partner do also?
No, Joe does it as well as Aaron. We had Aaron Corsa recently step up and take my position in the podcasting. We did that because we thought it would be a better fit to have a male and a female and get different perspectives instead of just two guys.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. There's a lot of masculine energy here. I'd argue that we probably need some more females in the. And those of you who don't know, Gabby, our marketing director, is the female who runs this podcast. Shout out, Gabby. So you have a big guest, and then where do you go from there? Like, let me ask you this: what is the voice of the Valley? What do you guys define yourself as right now?
Yeah, and when I tell people, they kind of like look at me and they kind of blink and they're like, what do you mean? Voice of the Valley primarily is a networking group. That's first and foremost. Secondly, we offer services like podcasts and business walkthroughs. But again, we rely heavily on our network. That is our net worth. So
Okay. So with setting up a podcast, a lot of people want to do something like that. But as I know, and as our company knows, and as you know, to set up a studio, the proper audio, the proper video. Now you're talking about editing after you do a podcast. All of that's it can be very daunting to start one yourself. So what you've done is created a very valuable piece of the puzzle for somebody, a small business who's like, I just need to focus on making dog treats. Like I can't also make a podcast about dog treats, but I want to come and expose so that would be something where someone could come in and use your services to get audio, get video. How does that look when somebody reaches out to you?
Yeah, so we offer a few packages. The first and foremost package is the collaboration podcast. So you come in, we do an interview with you, and we get your voice out there. And then we invite you for a collaboration. The second thing we do is podcast rentals. So if you want to shoot your own video and podcast, we got a producer on site. They'll be there to walk you through the entire step, and they'll be able to create some excellent clips for you through that. But recently we started getting into business walkthroughs, and that's something I really enjoy doing because we get to showcase your business through like a 60-second commercial.
Okay, what's a business walkthrough?
A business walkthrough is essentially just walking everyone watching the audience through your business. So an example, let's say you are a restaurant, right? You're gonna be introduced as the owner. You're gonna say, "Hey guys, come in." You come in, and then you get to like just see what happens there, what you guys offer.
Okay, so it's not at the studio. You actually go physically to the business, and okay. It's almost like a point of view for somebody walking in the front door and then, going through, like if it was a restaurant, the menu and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another interesting part, now that we're on Mortgage Celebrities, we actually do real estate videos as well.
Oh.
So we've been doing some realtor videos, and they've been enjoying it. So we've been getting into that market. And interestingly, the real estate markets, now I got to ask you a question, right? Yeah. Like, it's been booming around here, the real estate markets. Where do you think this trend is going?
It feels like it's got to end somewhere. But then, you have the medical company coming in and bringing their plant here, and then that's going to bring a ton more need for housing. We work with some builders in the area, and they're really expanding and looking to build quickly. So there's no end in sight. I mean, the demand is so high, and you have people coming and we talked about this a little before, but the hub of the Lehigh Valley being where it is such a strategic point to all these different metropolitan and city areas that, I don't see any reason that this place isn't going to double in size in the next few years.
Kyle, would you call me crazy if I said I really believe, truly, Allentown, well, not Allentown, but the Lehigh Valley will be bigger than Philly in the next 10 to 15 years. I truly believe that, just with the trend that's going on. And it's like a stock when it's at like Tesla, when it's at $5. That's kind of how I see the Lehigh Valley right now. And that's why I think we're blessed as Voice of the Valley to be positioned in such a good time where we're about to see this huge growth happen.
I see it as well. I'm not from the Valley. I moved here about 5 years ago, and my wife is from the Valley. She's grown up, born and raised here, and I moved up to be closer to family with her. And the moment I walked into the Valley, to Easton, to Bethlehem, to Allentown, you kind of fall in love with this small city feel to it. But very quickly, it's gone from like, I feel like you could know everybody to now like,
Yeah.
it's so big.
Yeah.
It's so big. Um, so I agree with you. I think it's going to explode. Where do you see the voice of the Valley in 5 years, 10 years?
Oh, that's too much. I don't know. I really can't tell you, but I could say in the next year, I do see us really establishing a strong community, and within this community, the opportunities for there will be plenty to go around. The opportunities will be everywhere for all the small businesses, and I also see, a lot more inclusion happening. I really believe that that more events need to be happening.
Yeah.
We need to be having a lot more events. People need to be going out because for a long time now, Allentonians have been complaining. There's nothing going on in Allentown, right? Even my cousin, he'll call me from Philly and he'll be like, "Bro, I'm not coming to Allentown. There's nothing going on there," and there is, but no one knows about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I knew growing up when I was, dating my then girlfriend, now wife, was Music Fest. Like
Hmm.
there was just the only thing. So I would like look forward to coming up to going to Music Fest, but there's a lot more that goes on here
Yeah,
than just Music Fest. And there's a lot of big businesses coming in too.
yeah,
So I think it's important, as we were talking about before, to help maintain those small businesses and support
hmm,
those small businesses. Would you say that that's your like ultimate goal, is just to
yeah.
help them?
Yeah, the ultimate goal is essentially for businesses and influencers that have been local and really they're starting up to help these guys grow,
Okay.
as well as I really want to get back into the events because um, I think that's just how you really build a community. I also run a basketball league called American Christian League, and that's about 300 players. So
Oh,
seeing, every week, seeing, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there with family and friends and kids and everything. That's like my dream. So I'm trying to figure out how could we do that for Voice of the Valley. We were recently just at Best of the Valley, and I really enjoyed that. That was my favorite event because just the amount of life there, the amount of just life and how much joy there was in that area with the best food, the best wine. Just those are the moments I love.
so what do you see? Well, going back to the basketball league, where can people find this? Like where do you run it out of?
Yeah, it's located in the zone. You can find us at American Christian League on Instagram, and yeah, you can we run our games Saturdays for the men's league, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the women's league, we got 3 courts running at the same time. Mondays 6 to 10
Awesome.
p.m. Yep.
So what kind of events do you see soon that you guys are going to do?
Yeah, so the next one's going to be cigars and cars.
Okay.
That's going to be, I believe, in 3 weeks. We are looking to go to the Lantern Festival. That's a cool one.
Yeah.
And of course, the biggest one, Music Fest.
Mhm.
We got to prep for that.
Yeah, I mean, Music Fest I've heard can be expensive to get into, but there's plenty of ways that you can get a booth and probably interview people walking by
Hmm.
and different businesses. Um, so with the events, with everything, I know you kind of skirted the question, but what does it look like 5 years from now? With like, where do you see yourself?
Well, my goal has to always, so this is getting into a personal question. My goal is to I believe my generation's gone downhill. So my goal is to have a rejuvenation, if not of my generation, but of the younger generation below me. So those in their teens and younger, because seeing people my age, not a lot of motivation. The economy isn't doing so well if you're, single, and if you're just trying to make ends meet. If you don't have a degree, it's not looking so good for you. So my goal is to inspire and motivate and to also give opportunities to my generation so that they can do the same going forward.
I was just listening to something earlier today, in fact, and one of the things that they did this survey of people, and in the survey, they found that people were more, I forget how they worded it, but they wanted to be more involved in their community, more so than they wanted to be well off.
Mhm.
So, in other words, they want to have some involvement somehow in their community rather than being able, not necessarily pay your bills, but to do above and beyond the pay your bills thing, like
Mhm.
go on vacations and do the things like that. So, I don't think many people admit that. I think if you were to ask somebody up front, like they would probably tell you, like, yeah, the goal is to retire early or something like that. But living a well life and a meaningful life, they could be the same thing, but the meaningful part of it is being involved in your community.
Mhm.
The times when I go and do something that's, with small businesses, or whether it's for charity or something I've never done before, and you do it with a group of people, you always walk away from that feeling way better than when you went in.
Mhm.
So I think the goal that you guys have is pretty awesome. And
Mhm.
how many employees do you have working with you now to help you achieve this?
I can't say off the top of my head, but I would say roughly 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is the goal to build this into multiple studios or a bigger hub so that you can just help more and more businesses? Or, I mean,
Well, again, the first real goal is to focus on the community, is to build this community and to network. So the goal is to first, before we get into like the
mhm,
podcasting and the services we offer, it's to, hey guys, we all got great things going on, but why aren't we collaborating? Why are we just like doing our own things in our own on our
yeah,
own times, right? Why not like, hey, you two are in the same niche, you three are in the same niche, you four are in the same niche. There's no reason to compete. The
mhm,
valley is growing. Partner up. We'll
yeah,
help you. You know what I mean? That we'll help connect these nodes together. So that's the first goal. The second goal gets into absolutely creating a media machine for the Lehigh Valley. Nowadays, you got to pump out content. You know
yeah,
what I mean? You have to, because if you don't, it's not like 2016 anymore. I wish it was. You know what I mean? I'm in this tech world. I don't enjoy it, man. I don't enjoy the social media aspect of it. I don't enjoy, the editing parts. I don't enjoy any of that, but I enjoy the benefits it brings. I enjoy the conclusion it brings.
yeah. I mean, I've heard that so many times, people being like, I don't enjoy, I don't like scrolling. I don't like making the videos, editing video. I don't know who likes editing.
No.
Before we had Gabby, we were doing it all ourselves. Thank you, Gabby. But I was happy, happy, happy when she came on board, because then I don't have to do as much. But it's the truth. It's a means to an end, gets you exposed to those things. Have you had any really good success stories with connections that you've made with other businesses?
Yes, yes. The biggest, just off the top of my head, some of the biggest ones are Rebecca with Cafe 23.
Okay.
We're doing a docu-series for her. Just we Rebecca and I share the same outlook, and that's why it's very nice when you get to meet people that share the same vision as you. Um, who else could I say?
I mean, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are
So,
putting me on the spot. I mean, Todd. I don't know why Todd Teasley comes to mind. Todd is a great guy. I mean, he supported us from day one, and he's always been behind the scenes, saying how great we are to everyone. So I really appreciate you, Todd, for doing that. You're day one. Um, Another cool one was Red McFly. Red McFly was cool because I don't listen to rap a lot,
mhm.
but it's interesting to see that point of view. Like, what does an artist go through? And to hear his story and how many struggles and challenges he had to go through, it's great. The best thing about podcasting is how much you learn. And you learn all this knowledge, and now it has to be crystallized into wisdom. So now when you're out day to day, you're going to remember something someone said on the podcast, and you're not going to make a mistake.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I can't tell you how many different podcasts, whatever I listen to, where I'm constantly, I'm in the kitchen like doing something, and my wife will mention something. I'll be like, 27% of people actually do, and like I'll just spew out a stat that like,
Yeah.
I just had from something I listened to, just kind of like how I did that earlier
Yeah.
with you. But so where can businesses, if someone wants to inquire about your services,
Yeah.
How do they reach out to you?
So you can reach out to Voice of the Valley on Instagram. I think it's the Voice of the Valley on Instagram. Or you can reach out to our email, hello@thevoiceofthevalley.com. And, those are the simple ways. Or you could call us,
And is any business too big, too small? Like,
No.
what's your niche? Like, what do you think you're looking for?
Even if, like, we're about to do a collab with a business that they didn't even start. They're about to start. So It doesn't matter how small you are. Doesn't matter how big you are. We're game.
Okay. And the connection part of it, even if you're just starting your business, you may have somebody that that you've interviewed, that you can help connect them with, that's going to set them up for success in the future. And shortly, hopefully, I'll be coming over to your studio and I'll do my first interview because I've never done one of those either. And we'll see how that goes. How do you think your interview is going to go with me? Like, what do you think I'm just peek behind the curtain. Like, are you going to ask about mortgages or are you going to go behind?
Well, I won't be the one doing it. That's the first thing. That's the first thing.
Away. Yeah.
Knowing Joe and Aaron and how, Joe and Aaron, knowing how attention to detail oriented they are, they're going to want to know everything about mortgages.
So I got to have my stuff ready.
Because Joe's in real estate. He's going to want to know. And then Aaron's always curious.
Yeah.
So I just know this is going to be 50% mortgage and the rest is going to be whatever.
So speaking of the real estate part of it, you said you just started doing videos for real estate. We have a fair amount of followers that are real estate agents. Can you tell exactly what it is that you guys do for them?
Sure. Basically, if you are a realtor, we will build a customized 60-second commercial for you. And that's really good for, boosting to the public, showing your followers. It brings a level of professionalism that hey, this guy is the real deal. The other thing that we do is we do show houses. So, we'll bring our camera crew, drones, whatever. We'll get shots of your home that you're looking to sell, put up for a listing. And lastly, if you have any real estate projects or if you're looking to just simply do a podcast on real estate, we host you too for that.
And if someone were to go check out the Voice of the Valley today and you were like, I'm going to put my best foot forward, which episode should I watch? Which one would you recommend to somebody who's never seen it before?
That's a really good question. I would say the first episode, even though the audio is bad. Again, you run into problems when you first start. Dr. Dennis Covier. If you want to learn business from the best, Dr. Dennis Covier. If you want to listen to an interesting story, Joanne, who got shot 5 times. That's an interesting one. And I'll give you a third one too. I'm not going to lie. Now with the trends going on, Mike the Kid was a weird podcast, but it was a good one. If you want.
Mike the Kid?
Mike the Kid is a social media influencer.
Okay.
He just basically eats food.
Okay.
There's a lot of talks, right?
Yeah.
But he has a lot of social media knowledge that can help increase your views, increase your likes, increase your followers. So yeah.
Cool. Anything else, man? I mean, I think we dove into it a little bit, but and I think this is going to be the beginning of something. Like you said, the networking thing. Oh, are you going to create a networking event? Are you going strictly because all right, so
it's in the works.
Friends of Pete, that's a big one in the Lehigh Valley. I haven't had on Pete yet, but I mean, I know him personally, and there's a few others, but I mean, I think that would be very, on brand, number one. But I think that's the next step, I feel like.
No, definitely. We that's in the works. So a surprise is coming. No one knows about it yet, but yeah, we are moving forward to that. Pete's great.
Yeah.
Pete's really cool. Yeah, that's
Did you guys interview him?
Yeah, we did. We did. Pete's he's full of energy and all he's doing is helping people 24/7.
Yeah, when I moved here, he was one of the first people that I met, and it just turned out that everybody knew him. And I was like, oh, I just met the most famous person in the valley. But no, he's always shaking hands and he's looking to help people. And shout out Pete. We'll have you in soon. But yeah, so I look forward to coming over soon. And any way we can collaborate and help, I'm all for it.
Absolutely, Kyle.
Thanks, Kia.
Yep.